Hey, how's it going? My name is Mike Powell. I'm excited here to talk to you guys today about Code of Ethics for Engineers. This is something that we have to go through from day one, freshman year, coming into the engineering programs all the way up to our senior year. But we're halfway through now, so now we get to actually impress upon the major guidelines of the ethics for engineers, and I'm going to give you that presentation today. So there's 6 major factors that we need to go over. 1, you need to make sure to hold paramount safety, health, and welfare of the public. 2, perform services only in areas of our competence, so you should know what you're talking about and doing. Issue public statements only in an objectful and truthful manner. Act for each employer or client as faithful agents or trustees. Avoid deceptive acts, and conduct ourselves honorably, responsibly, ethically, and lawfully so as to enhance honor, reputation, and usefulness of the profession. So, hold paramount safety, health, and welfare of the public. We need to make sure that a judgment is not overruled under circumstances that endanger life or property. We should notify our employer, client, and such other authority as may be appropriate. So this brings to mind a specific circumstance that actually ended up happening at the beginning of this year, end of last year, regarding the I-40 bridge in Memphis between Arkansas and Tennessee. So there was a giant crack in it, and the inspector who signed off on it actually falsified documents. And now because he's looking at prison time, just because he didn't do what he was supposed to and take care of the safety of us and all of our loved ones. Every single day when you go to work, every single project you're working on, you need to ensure that you have 110% best interest at heart with every single job that you do. Just thinking about any bridge that you drive over in general, would you want you or your loved ones to have that crumble underneath them and somebody fall to their death or get seriously injured? These types of things happen every single day. Or the car falls apart that you're driving on the bridge. There's so many different aspects. All these come from engineering ideas, and we need to ensure the safety is number one and press upon every single day when we come to work. Engineers shall not aid or abet unlawful practice of engineering by a person or firm. So you shouldn't be running wild as an engineer, and you definitely need to notify other people if that is the case, because yet again, it all comes down to safety. Safety is paramount for this one. So, engineers shall perform services only in the areas of their competence. Engineers shall undertake assignments only when qualified by education or experience in specific technical fields involved. So I thought this really kind of pertained to me, especially going through a lot of these courses right now. I'm so confused with a lot of these things, but the number one thing that I'm doing is making sure to stay in my lane. My realm of comprehension is something that you need to ensure that you stay inside of there. And it's that old adage, if you don't know what you're doing, go ask for help. Or if it's outside of your qualification range, let the individual who's specifically qualified to do that take advantage of that task and complete it. So engineers shall also not affix their signatures to any plans or documents dealing with subject matter that they lack competence. Same exact principle. So just don't put yourself in a predicament where, because you were too overenthusiastic about the task at hand, you ended up really kind of putting yourself in a bad situation, especially down the line if something goes awry, because then you're liable for it. Alrighty. Engineers shall issue public statements only in an objective and truthful manner. I can't lie. I thought this was a great movie to represent that. Obviously, the majority of this is all based off integrity. So, engineers shall be objective and truthful in professional report statements or testimony. Don't lie. I cannot tell you how many times I have made mistakes in jobs, and just by being blatantly honest and truthful up front, I was able to avoid any type of major trauma out of it. So, fortunately, nobody's ever gotten injured out of the situations, but if a company wants to fire you, they're going to find a reason to do it. And the best thing that you can do is just fess up and own up to a certain circumstance when it happens. And most of the time, there's going to be recourse for sure, but the reprisals are going to be a lot less than if you try to cover it up or hide it. Engineers may express publicly technical opinions that are founded upon knowledge and the facts of competence in the subject matter. you shouldn't really, I mean, that kind of comes down to just not spouting or talking out of your rear end. I mean, you should definitely know what you're talking about when it comes to a subject. Nobody wants to walk into a room, or nobody should at least have the desire to walk into a room and then just start spewing out a whole bunch of facts and information that they never actually did any research on, and then someone hems them up for it. That's just embarrassing. So that's the primary portion for number 3. Number 4, engineers shall act for each employer. Yeah, most of the time when you guys get hired on at your next position, especially with a bachelor's degree going into an engineering position, you're going to end up having to sign a non-compete clause. There's a lot of money involved, and unfortunately, your ideas become the company's ideas. You know, unless it becomes long-term for you, but you may have some sort of groundbreaking new technology that you come up with, and if you got a non-compete clause, it's going to end up belonging to the company. So engineers shall not accept compensation, financial, otherwise, from more than one party for services on the same project or for services pertaining to the same project, unless circumstances are fully disclosed. So you also shouldn't be taking bribes from other places. You have a moral obligation to the place that you work for, so you should be abiding by those standards and principles. And shall not solicit or accept financial or other valuable consideration directly or indirectly from outside agents. Yeah, I mean, there's so many integral reasons why you shouldn't be doing that in the first place, and primarily it comes down to your loyalty factor as well as honesty and integrity, but you're loyal to the company you work for. Number 5, engineers shall avoid deceptive acts. You definitely don't want to be like Dick Dastardly here. Engineers shall not falsify their qualifications or permit misrepresentation. Most of the time, your company is supposed to vet that, but also you got to meet them halfway too. You need to be an honest individual, and they should know about you up front, and then there shouldn't be any underlying circumstances that come to pass once you actually start with the company. Engineers shall not offer, give, solicit, or receive, either directly or indirectly. Yet again, it comes down to you shouldn't be taking bribes or payoffs for certain types of any type of engineering marvel that you may have created or maybe be in the process of. There's obviously a federal integrity that correlates with that. So last one, conduct ourselves honorably, responsibly, ethically, and lawfully. I mean, this whole thing literally just comes down to integrity and ethics. Just don't lie. And finally, questions. I'm an open book, so anything that you guys have going, please feel free to ask me about it. If I don't know the answer, I'll get back to you with it, but at the same time, it also holds me accountable to make sure that I maintain my integrity. So if you ask me a question I don't know it, expect a dumbfounded look, but at least some sort of response that isn't going to be completely off the cuff. Otherwise, thank you for you guys' time. Have a great one, and enjoy the rest of this class.